Before we get into the fantasy news, Kayla will tear my head off if I forget again to tell you all that we actually have the Foxhead ring back in stock over at DanielBGreen.com. These are a limited edition, like, cast ring that's really strong. Gross kind of TMI proof. I used the ear on it to peel off all my gel tips, and the ear is still perfectly kind of pointy sharp in a good way. Not gonna stab someone with that, although, like, what the hell are you doing? Anyway, we originally only had 25 men and women made, thinking that we'd struggle to sell that many. That was gone very quickly. So we contacted the supplier. There are gonna be some more of these Foxhead rings available if you would like to get them over at DanielBGreen.com, as well as the Goodest Boy tee or the Igloomy shirt as well, if you know, you know. They said it's cast from one piece of metal, and I'd like to brag about that, but I thought all rings were one piece of metal. Welcome everybody to another episode of Fantasy News. I am here to shovel Goblin host Daniel Green, and today we're going to be going ahead and kicking it off with one of the biggest names in the sci-fi space, and that is going to be Pierce Bâan. The legend of modern has come out and announced a new story within the Red Rising universe called The Book of Lore, which was written as a palate cleanser between Lightbringer and Red God, and excitingly has been illustrated. This is a combination of a novella and a graphic novel fused into one, like Vegeta and Goku taking on the Bubblegum Man. There's a whole lot more details available at escalates.com. Pierce Bâan marketing, I appreciate it. But this is going to be released in chunks exclusively to Pierce Bâan's Patreon before, when enough chapters have been released to be bound together and put on out to wider audiences. Very cool. And the artist working on this is Giannis Milano Giannis. And the pitch reads, "The Book of Lorn will follow Darrow of Lycos as he seeks out Lorn Au Alcrust, the greatest razor master in all the world, to be his covert mentor in the arts of hand-to-hand combat. Through razor duels and hard labor, Lorn will teach Darrow much more than the fighting style known as the Willow Way." And I know fighting forums have all kinds of fun, funky names, but I actually grew up with a weeping willow in my backyard, and so the Willow Way just makes me think of a fighting style where I watched a willow in the windstorms a lot, and it's just kind of... I'm gonna fight you.
Under pain of consequence, honor in the first, honor in the last.
But this is going to serve as a very nice transition into my catch-up and update here for channel news. And that is because, yes, as many of you clearly already know, and thank you so much, we finally dropped the complete Wheel of Time summary here on the channel, and it has been incredibly well received. Nynaeve arrives. She shows up and is super pissed. A video that long, I wasn't sure how fast people would actually try and get through it. And the analytics for, like, YouTube that I looked up said for an 11-hour video, even 1% of people getting to the end of it by, like, it being out for a while is pretty good. Already we're at 3%, and it's only been out for a few days, which, holy crap, thank you. And to the few of you who commented that you finished in one sitting, genuinely, how? But I actually got the follow-up video cleared early. It's good to go. I just want to make sure that patrons get Memory of Light a week early, so I'm going to let them have that. And then the full Brandon Sanderson Wheel of Time trilogy summary will be released here on the channel October 2nd, 9 a.m. EST. Mark your calendars. But the reason that it's a good transition from Red Rising into this is because the next summary video I'm going to do is actually Greenbone Saga, which I'm really looking forward to doing, because after doing a classic epic fantasy, doing one of the best of the modern urban genre is going to be tons of fun. But after Greenbone Saga, I'll be doing a Red Rising summary followed up by Sun Eater. But where we go from there is up to you. And you might be wondering, Daniel, this is a whole lot of summary videos. Is that what this channel is going to be dedicated to from now on? No, I'm still going to be doing a lot of fun projects, things along those lines. Yet I will say the main channel here is probably going to remain dedicated to larger things like fantasy news, the L. Ron Hubbard deep dive I did recently that has done really well over time, thank you, and summary videos, maybe tier list, stuff like that. But YouTube's been punishing YouTubers more and more for having poorly performing videos regularly appearing on their channel. And so for that reason, a lot of the more simple stuff like book reviews that doesn't always do super good in the algorithm will be over on the second channel. But for example, my big Adrian Tchaikovsky reading all of his books project, which I finished service model and now I'm on Dogs of War, that'll be here because it's like a bigger thing. Does that make sense? Thank you. I know some people were really campaigning hard for me to do Malazan, and I get it, but my brain right now is at full capacity for Wheel of Time lore, and I need to let that steam blow off for a while. And so a less lore heavy series, but one that I love basically equal as much, is the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee, and it'll be a nice little experiment to see if that summary format can work just as well for a modern urban fantasy epic.
We're good. Pew.
All right, so Kayla and I were just talking about this the other day because we were walking into a coffee shop. You ever notice how smells can just transport you to another place? Like a bit of flowers will take you back to childhood. Sometimes there are certain smells you just associate with one person. Like I always associate Kayla with Black Opium perfume. That's just her signature scent. Well, now you can get your signature scent too with Scentbird. Scentbird is a monthly fragrance subscription that allows you to try new perfumes every single month. This helps you avoid those fully priced bottles that are like $300 to $500. And the first time you buy it, you don't even know if you're gonna like that scent after being exposed to it for a long amount of time. This, you just problem skipped. With over 900 fragrances available, including popular brands like Prada and Versace, as well as niche labels, Scentbird offers plenty of opportunities to find your favorite profile. I've been trying some of their scents, and recently I've been most drawn to JUS's Embracer. Gets me that back near the ocean vibe with a bit of sea salt and fresh air. The other one, Jet Black Platinum, has this really interesting combination of cinnamon and toffee meets lavender and vanilla. Not ice. And if you're not even sure where to start, like I quite frankly wasn't, Scentbird even has a quiz to help you find the exact right profile for you. And come with a 30-day supply, which is also delivered directly to your door. All you have to do is scan the QR code or use 55Green to get 55% off your first month at Scentbird. And you can get your very first for just $8, and the next month will only be $16.95. Again, that's promo code 55Green, or just scan the QR code on the screen. Then you can discover the right for you. Back to the video. But getting into the hardcore book news of the week, we have had a new translation of a Korean horror novel announced over at Nightfire, titled A Plagued Sea by Kim Bo-young. This has been translated by Sophie Bowman and has art by Jenna Hindersdorf. Now, Kim Bo-young has won the South Korean Science Fiction Novel Award 3 times, and this book's plot is summarized as: while waiting for a train to Haewon, an isolated Korean seaside village, bodyguard Woo Young gets a disaster alert on her phone. TVs throughout the station report breaking news of a massive earthquake on the eastern coast. Despite the danger, Woo Young boards the train with her niece. She'd rather face the earthquake than leave the girl in her mother's care. That choice haunts her for the rest of her life. 3 years later, Haeyang Village is home to horrors. The earthquake unleashed an ancient plague that transformed its victims into fishy monsters, and the government's lockdown has cut off any hope for help. Woo Young's niece is dead, and all that's left for her is to hunt villagers who break isolation. When a officious bureaucrat from Seoul arrives in the village, he stirs up even deeper trouble. Will Woo Young survive? Does she even deserve to? A Lovecraftian nightmare of plague, transformation, and abomination. And if Korean horror books are as good as Korean horror movies tend to be, my ass is in, not like the movie seat, but like the recliner I read often in. My butt is going to be in that for this. And I also want to say the combination of dead fish with open, like big eyes for the cover. Good job, Jenna. That's upsetting. And this will be out August 11th. 2026. But this takes us to another special edition announcement from The Broken Binding, because they have picked up another series that has a history here on the channel of being a favorite, and that is going to be the duology for Kings of the Wild, followed up by its sequel, Bloody Rose. All right, the series is just called The Band, right?
Yes.
By Nicholas Eames, this follows a super D&D feeling party as they are going on a heartfelt, brutal adventure Love the books a ton, and this special edition is getting the full broken binding treatment, which I appreciate. It has cover art coming through by Julian Delval. It's got typography by Jeff Brown, and a ton more artists coming in for in papers and all kinds of fun illustrations. And they really seem to be trying to match that like punk energy that comes with the series and hyper energetic writing style. So definitely, if you're our special edition Kings of the Wild fan, keep an eye out. But in some DCC news, which we seem to be able to not have a week go by without something coming up. And this week it's two things, because it seems that Dungeon Crawler Carl is going to be getting its own collectibles line. Cool for people who are into that, not for me. Though if you're going to do a bunch of like wacky, zany collectible character figurines for a book series, Dungeon Crawler Carl, hard to find a better one than that. I just don't like plastic stuff typically. I just got paranoid there's like plastic behind me. Why would that matter? I don't care. But in more exciting for me personally news, we have also seen that Dungeon Crawler Carl's Volume 2 and 3 limited edition hardcovers are launching soon over on Kickstarter, with the next announcements for these to be put out September 26th. We still don't know a ton, and there's an irony, of course, to seeing Dungeon Crawler Carl, something that's so satirical and critical of capitalism, doing this monstrous amount of franchiseification we've seen recently. But it reminds me of like what happened to RoboCop and movies like that back in the 80s, where RoboCop, super adult. I think we can all agree on that movie. But there's like little kid toys that were put out for it during that time. And seeing Matt Dinniman so effectively do something similar reminds me of a quote from one of my new favorite bands.
The best way to scare a Tory is to read and get rich.
And I'm all down for using the mechanisms of late-stage capitalism to critique late-stage capital. I'm smart and political. But getting into some more traditional book news, we have seen that the next Murderbot book has put out its last bit of info, and that is going to be also a cover reveal for Platform Decay. This latest entry for Murderbot is going to be hitting shelves May 5th of 2026 and is yet another novella. We have seen the first images for Pinocchio Unstrung drop with a twisted Jimmy Cricket, voiced by Robert Englund. No, this is not related to the upcoming Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio movie. Is that the director? This is instead connected to the Pooverse, the Blood and Honey stuff. I love that this exists. It's where art goes to dysfunction. And Robert Englund being on board, fuck yes. And Todd Masters, who has worked on franchises like Child's Play, Chucky, and Underworld, makes me think this is at least going to have that kind of look to it that all sick freaks like myself enjoy. And quite frankly, this Jiminy Cricket is awful in a good way. I like it. He looks like he wants to put those dry gums on me, and I would do anything to make that not happen. I can't wait to see it. And you remember how in last week's episode of Fantasy News, we saw Sean Astin got elected to be the president of SAG-AFTRA? Amazing. Well, in just as exciting news, we have seen that Christopher Nolan has been elected president of the Directors Guild of America, and he ran unopposed. I'm trying to find a way to relate this to George Washington. Give me a second. There are few men who, he ran unopposed, but in a statement given after he was elected, Christopher Nolan said, "To be elected president of the Directors Guild of America is one of the greatest honors of my career. Our industry is experiencing tremendous change, and I thank the Guild's membership for entrusting me with this responsibility. I also want to thank President Glatter for her leadership over the past 4 years. I look forward to collaborating with her and the newly elected board to achieve important creative and economic protections for our members." Now it is up to Samwise Gamgee and the director of Oppenheimer to come together and save art in the day and age of AI. Is there a movie in there? Samwise and Barbenheim.
Just stop trying so hard, okay?
But you all seem to have been really enjoying when I've been shouting out creatives here on YouTube that have been kind of pushing the boundaries of the platform. We had that flip book adapting all of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy being released, which is amazing. We've had some interesting mods, but maybe not topping, but like in the same tier of holy crap, we have seen Gigok, I hope I'm saying that right, release a full animated short film on his channel that looks like up to par swinging with some of the best content that major studios have put out. It's self-funded, fully voice cast, tells the story of two people in search of new life who leave their birthplaces, traveling to a whole different world, trying to find a place where they truly belong. And I'm going to sit down and hopefully watch this with Kayla soon. It looks really sweet, and I don't know, just makes me happy to see that all these decades later now that YouTube's been out, there are still people who are raising the bar for what content on the platform can be. Badass. But that's not the only amazing animated thing released by a creator this week that I want to bring your sci-fi fantasy loving eyes to. And that is because over at Glitch, they have released a pilot for a show called Knights of Guinevere, pitched as a
psychological
thriller that welcomes you to a planet-wide theme park in the clouds and the shadows below, where a broken princess android is two dreamers' ticket to better lives or the end of them. And in the first 2 days, this has garnered almost 9 million views, and once again looks up to par with something released on Cartoon Network or such, like full budgeted. The day and age of media and entertainment we're in is so mind-blowingly cool. This is probably gonna be my thumbnail pose. But let's go ahead and jump into the quickie news, because DanDaDan has been confirmed for a season 3 over at Netflix. The director of the new Resident Evil movie, Zach Krager, has said it will be an entirely original movie.
Then what are we doing here?
And then the final big Hollywood news this week, we have had it said, this actually sounds like something I wouldn't normally cover, but I'm covering it for an important reason. You'll see why in a second. That Margot Robbie's The Sims movie will have Barbie and Lego movie influences, which don't make it like Barbie. Don't make it like the Lego movie. This should be a horror film. Have you ever seen a 20 to 30 something play The Sims and what they do to those people? That's psychological fucking horror. The amount of times I've seen someone just drown a Sims character in a pool by taking a ladder away. This has so much potential to be a horror comedy, right? And horror comedies, like in the vein of Shaun of the Dead, are a beautiful thing. In my opinion, The Sims movie plays most directly towards the horror comedy genre. Do you disagree with me on that? I think that's obvious. But now we are going to have an exciting resuming here for Fantasy News, where indie books will once again be getting promoted, because now I am not doing a full Wheel of Time summary every waking day that I am not working on the Fantasy News or something else. We have the breathing room to promote books from you all. And to pop this off with a bit of a bang, I have actually had another content creator who is indie publishing one of their books send in a video to do a really exciting cover announcement for their sequel. Take it away.
What's up, fantasy freaks? My name is Caden Love, and I am the author of Toothsucker, a cyberpunk novel about tooth-eating vampires featuring corrupt K-pop idols, cyborg dolphins, and so much more. I want to thank Daniel for letting me come on this week, because even though I wrote this book, let's talk about something more exciting, the cover reveal for Book 2. This is coming pretty soon, and I want to show you the cover of Chromatic Creep. This book is almost twice as long. If you love Red Rising or particularly cyberpunk edge runners, you need to get on this, because book 1 until the end of the week is on sale for 99 cents on Amazon. Go ahead and check it out. And if you want to connect with me, my usernames elsewhere are at CadenLoveAuthor, at CadenLoveAuthor_ on Instagram. That's where I post tons of reels and book content that is probably a tier down from Daniel's, but I try my best. Go ahead and check it out, and I hope you like this unhinged book.
And once again, thank you to Synthbird for sponsoring today's video. When you click the link down below or scan the QR code on screen, be sure to use code 55green for 55% off your first month. But this has just been your latest episode of Like and subscribe if you have not already. Head on over to danielbgreen.com if you want to snatch one of the Foxhead rings while they last. And thank you once again, everybody, for making the Wheel of Time summary video such a success. It means the world. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.